Hey everybody, Tosan here, and I wanted to make a quick video about Legion, the pros and cons of Legion so far, and what my overall opinion of it is. So first off, for those of you who have been watching my live stream, you probably know that I wasn't very happy with the state of the game in the beta, especially from a PvP standpoint. But I am pleased to say that my opinion of it has changed dramatically since release. Now, they were, doing a lot of changes to a lot of classes, and my favorite class for a long time now has been Hunter, and I was not very satisfied with the direction any of the specs were going. But, especially Marksman, because I've loved Marksman for a long time now. It's always been my favorite Hunter spec, and I was not happy with how they were changing it in the beta, and I was getting pretty sad about how things were going to turn out. I was really afraid that this was going to be WoD 2.0. Now, we all know that WoD was pretty much hands down the worst expansion ever, but for a variety of reasons that I don't want to get into detail about too much, but I'm just pleased to say that things have turned out a lot better than expected since beta. Blizzard has done a great job of tweaking and tuning and changing a lot of the little things that has turned it from, oh my god, this is going to be horrible, it's going to be WoD all over again, into something that's actually really fun. So as far as the PvP stuff, I'll get into that in a moment, but the first thing I want to say that I'm really happy about compared to especially Warlords of Draenor is all the world stuff that you can do. Now, I've been mainly a PvPer for a long time. Of course, the beauty of WoW is that you could always do a bit of PvE and a bit of PvP and mix that all together and have lots of stuff to do all the time, especially back in Vanilla, BC Wrath, and all that. And I haven't really had that same sort of feeling of the World of Warcraft for many years. It's probably Kata was the last time I really felt that, where I did a good mix of PvE and PvP and enjoyed it. But in Legion so far, I find that I'm pleasantly occupied all the time. There's always something to be doing, and even though it may be a fabricated carrot on a stick, I like that kind of stuff. And I feel like a lot of people are driven by having some sort of goal, even if it's a fabricated and arbitrary goal of like, oh, increase my artifact power, increase my item level, do mythic pluses over and over and get better items. It's all about the experience, and so far I've been enjoying it. I like having lots of stuff to do, even if it's just some goal that I don't necessarily have to do if they made the game differently. But between the world quests and the mythics and stuff, I'm actually PvEing more than I ever thought I would in a long time. And I'm enjoying it, believe it or not. I never thought I would say that I enjoy PvE stuff, but I do. And as far as the PvP stuff goes, the worst part of Legion is that they have pruned down the class kits. The term pruning that was going around for a while. They've consolidated a lot of abilities, removed a lot of abilities, just flat out removed them. Even things like trash buffs in PvP are not even a thing anymore. There's very few buffs to purge and dispel, and a lot of the mini games and the mind games that came from arena or PvP play have been reduced and consolidated, which is probably the worst thing I have to say about Legion, because as somebody who likes to make flashy videos and doing cool tricks and learning little new things that you can do to really maximize the effectiveness of your class, mainly in a flashy and fun way, you can't really do that much anymore, and that is kind of heartbreaking to a nerd like me who likes to do that stuff. But everything besides the, let's say, dumbing down of the class kits, more or less, is actually really good. All the PvE stuff, the things you have to do with the Order Hall and the campaigns and the world quests and even the mythics, I've been enjoying a lot so far. And, although I was really terrified of them destroying the Hunter class, especially Marksmanship, when I was playing the beta, they've actually made a lot of positive changes. Well, they're not even big changes, just very tiny changes throughout, between beta and release and since it's been live, to make Marksmanship actually enjoyable again. I thought that spec and that class was dead to me for a while, but I decided to level up my Hunter and give it another go, and I'd say the biggest change that I like to Hunter so far is that our PvP template has a lot of haste. They changed our global cooldown from a baseline 1 second to a 1.5 second, but our PvP template, at least, obviously out in the world, outside of PvP zones, you have to get the gear and whatever to customize your stats how you want, getting the right pieces of gear, so that can be a pain. But in PvP, at least, with the PvP templates that they have, we have a lot of haste, and that definitely makes the longer GCD not painful at all. So props to Blizzard for that. That makes the class 10 times more enjoyable to me, not feeling really slow and bogged down by a slow global cooldown. So I've actually been enjoying Marksmanship Hunter a lot, and I really thought that I would actually just totally ditch that class in Legion completely. Another thing I wanted to add too, the reason the world quests and all the world stuff is so fun to me isn't just because it's something to do and something to look forward to and pass the time with, but also it gives me that old world PvP feeling back that I haven't felt in a really long time. I usually don't like to pick fights with people that aren't looking for a fight because it's not that challenging, but I do like that there's a lot of horde on my server, and I honestly kind of hope that they attack me most of the time, as long as there's not too many of them and I have a chance of winning. I love the world quests because situations like this happen. Here, we all did the world quest together, and I'm ready to leave, and the rogue is like, nah, I'm totally not gonna let you get away with all my horde buddies here. He got real brave. But because he picked a fight, now I have a reason to defend myself instead of just ganking people who aren't looking for a fight. And I end up killing the shaman, and then killing the rogue, and then peacing out. And this happens a lot, and I love the world quests because of this. These kind of world PvP shenanigans were not present at all in Warlords of Draenor because you mostly just sit in your freaking garrison all day doing nothing except phasing to places that you want to go. So I like having reasons to go out in the world, you know? I don't like to just wander and pick fights with people aimlessly because I don't honestly find a challenge in picking a fight with somebody who's not even looking for a fight and might even be a keyboard turning clicker. That's no fun. But I like going around doing these world quests for loot. But just by being in the area, a lot of the time the enemy will pick a fight and it'll be a lot of fun. Here we're all doing this quest together, right? But now that I'm really low on health, these two guys get real brave again, and here I get some more world PvP shenanigans. This to me is one of the biggest selling points of the expansion. It's not just world PvP, it's just having stuff to do all the time. And even if these carrots on a stick, like world quests and stuff like that, are totally contrived and fabricated reasons to go out in the world, that's what MMOs are all about, and these spontaneous fights happen, and this is what made me fall in love with WoW in the first place. Having tons of stuff to do, going out in the world and doing it, and then having these random fights break out, and I love it. Overall, I would say that Legion is actually shaping up to be one of the best expansions. In the beta, I was thinking that I was going to be right down at the bottom with WoD, but Blizzard has done a really good job of ironing out all the little kinks in the details, and all those little things go a long way to making the expansion a lot more fun than anticipated. So, for those of you who give a shit about my opinion at all, I would say that Legion is actually a really good expansion. Now again, the worst part being that you can't do flashy stuff, and as a video maker, I always like to, record all these really crazy cool tricks and stuff that you can do that people don't expect and make people, PogChamp and stream chat and stuff like that. There's not going to be nearly as much as that, but that is the only bad thing that I have to say about Legion. Everything else is great. There's just so much stuff to do. You're not just AFK in your garrison anymore, phasing from instance to instance, being bored out of your mind when there's no instances to do, whether that be PvP or PvE. So props to Blizzard. You guys have done a great job of, ironing out all the details and, stumping all the fears that I had. So thank you very much for making this game enjoyable again, Blizzard. And anybody who's, looking for a solid opinion and trying, to decide if you want to play Legion at all, I would say that it's definitely worth playing at this point. Of course, to each his own. Maybe those things I mentioned about PvP are enough to be a deal breaker for you, but I've been enjoying it thus far. So that's all I have to say so far. Thanks for watching, guys, and peace out. So since I also started playing my Hunter again, by the way, I'm going to be uploading some guides for Hunter, anything useful that I can think of, like artifact paths and stuff like that. But if there's any particular kind of content you want to see with Hunter or Demon Hunter, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys.